Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we're in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Lynn Nesbitt, and I'm chairing today's panel. Joining me on the panel also via Zoom are Tracy Anderson and Kent Seelan. Our assessor today is Kem Wong, and our administrative personnel is Tristan Bradeen. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I'll confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 2, 3, 4, and 5 on our docket today. Mr. Bradeen, please affirm the assessor's and applicant's testimony.
Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Kem Wong.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And Mr. Bradeen, I understand that we do not have an applicant here today.
That is correct. There is no applicant as well. There is no communication nor evidence submitted.
Okay. And is it is the same applicant for all 4 matters on our agenda?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh,
I believe 888 St. Mary's is Servitec Management Limited, and the other 4 properties are Frank Winter.
Sorry, Mr.
I
Assessor.
have
888 St. Mary's has been withdrawn.
Okay, I was not aware of that. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. Mr. Wong, have you had any communication with Mr. Winter?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, the board will go in camera and we will determine whether we will hear the matters on our docket without the applicant being present. So, Mr. Bradeen, could you please put the assessor in the waiting room and we will go in camera. Okay, thank you. Can you put the assessor back in? Right,
Yep.
There he is.
Perfect.
The board has deliberated as to whether we will hear these matters without the applicant being present, and we have determined that we will hear these matters. So then that begins us with item number 2 on our agenda, which is file number 24-1130. Mr. Wong, whenever you're ready, please. And you are muted, just so you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The subject property is 85 Carriage Road. The file number is 24-1130. Yeah, I guess I was just I wasn't totally sure about the I guess the applicants not being here.
Yes. So we will hear your evidence as to the matter. We'll ask you some questions, and then we will go on to the next item.
Okay.
Yeah, so just go ahead, make your presentation. I understand you have a recommendation on this one. So you can just make your presentation, present the details, and tell us about your recommendation.
Mhm. Okay, I'm sorry, the file number is 24-1130. The roll number is 074-333-82000. The roll year is 2025, and the assessed value is 4,160,000. I'd like to recommend that the value be revised from 4,160,000 to 3,813,000, based off of NOI of 200,188 and cap rate of 5.25%. The NOI is their actual NOI on page 9, and the cap rate is the model cap rate at 5.25%.
Okay. Ms. Anderson, do you have questions for the assessor?
I do not at this point. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Seelan?
No questions, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question, Mr. Wong, and why did you decide to use the actual NOI compared to the model?
I felt it was more representative of the performance of the property, and I felt it was a reasonable representation of market value.
Okay, and was this based on discussions with the applicant or just in your review of this property?
It was based on my review of the property. I haven't had any discussions with the property owner.
Okay. And so the actual NOI, is this from a 2022 income and expense statement?
Correct.
Okay. Did you look at previous years also, or to determine if this is a reasonable or one-time blip?
I looked at 2022 and 2021.
Okay. And you're confident then that this is a reasonable number? Okay, that's great. Thank you. So I'll repeat, your recommendation is to reduce to 3,813,000. It's based on NOI of 200,188 and a cap of 5.25.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, that concludes item number 2. Item number 3 is file number 24-1114. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Wong.
Okay, the subject property is 215 Douglas Avenue. The file number is 24-1114. The roll number is 040-010-57100. Roll year is 2025, and the assessed value is 2,912,000. I'd like to recommend that the value be revised to 2,358,000, based off of an NOI of 112,000 and a cap rate of 4.75%.
Thank you. Mr. Seelan, any questions?
No questions. I think it's all been answered. It's I assume Mr. Assessor is consistent with the previous property that you've chosen the NOI based on the actual factual NOI for the property.
Yes, the NOI seems to be reasonable. It doesn't seem to be out of line with market. If it was, I guess, noticeably out of line with market, like a very low NOI, I think market parameters and income and expenses would be more representative of a fair market value. But in this particular instance, their actual NOI seems to be reasonable and in line with market.
Thank you. That's all my questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, any questions?
I do not have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a question about your cap rate, Mr. Wong. It's a low cap rate. Could you explain to us why this cap rate was selected by the model?
I'm not 100% sure, but it would probably be based off of the age of the property, the location, and also probably the size of the property in terms of the number of units.
Okay, so you didn't tell us about any of that in your introduction of the property. So this is a relatively new property then?
Well, it was built in 1981. I would consider that on the newer end of the spectrum, considering that the older properties are in the 1900s.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. I have no other questions. Thank you. That concludes item number 3. Item number 4 on our agenda is file number 24-1106. Mr. Wong.
Okay, the subject property is 210 Maxwell Place. The file number is 24-1106. The roll number is 020-315-35000. The roll year is 2025, and the assessed value is $5,531,000. See on the bottom of my page 1, I'm recommending that the value be revised to $4,070,000 based off of an NOI of $201,465 and a cap rate of 4.95%.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Mr. Seelan, any questions?
No questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson.
Maybe just a reminder that the cap rate at 4.95 is related to its location and age?
Yes, location, age, and probably the size of it, the building.
Thank you. That's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I have no additional questions. So that let me just confirm that's a recommendation to reduce to $4,070,000. That's based on a NOI of $201,465 and a cap rate of 4.95.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So that concludes item number 4. Our final item is item number 5. Mr. Wong.
Okay, the subject property is 1067 Henderson Highway. The file number is 24-1119. The roll number is 020-316-09000. The roll year is 2025. The assessed value is $3,313,000. And yeah, I guess I'm asking for the value to be confirmed.
Okay, can you take us through the property a little bit? Thank you.
It's a residential apartment that's 2 stories high. It was built in 1963, but we have an effective year built of 1983 due to improvements that have been made to the property. There's 29 suites with 29 outdoor parking stalls. On page 3 is a picture of the subject property with its location in North Kildonan. On page 4 is our income valuation summary. We used average rents of $945 to get a potential income of $328,000. It's a 2.6% vacancy to get an effective gross income of $320,000 and a 50% expense ratio to get a net operating income of $157,000, capped at 4.75%. We have an estimated market value of $3,313,000, which is about $114,000 per unit.
Okay. Go ahead.
On page 5 are some rent comparables showing that the rents we've used are in line with what's in the market. On page 6 and 7 is information on how we derived our cap rates, along with some cap rate sales that range from 3.46 to 5.74%. On page 9 and 10 are the income statements submitted by the owner. Their estimated income of 157,000 is the same as what the model is estimated at 157,000. And I ask that you maintain the assessed value at 3,313,000.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Ms. Anderson, any questions for the assessor?
Oh, ma'am, no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Seelan, any questions?
So you used a cap rate of 4.75% a year.
Yes.
And so is that based on the age of the property and the suite mix and stuff?
Yeah, it would be based off of the age and the location and likely the size of the property.
Is this a good location?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely on one of the better rental locations in the city.
Have you inspected this location?
I don't believe so.
No. Okay, thank you. That's all my questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I have no other questions either. So with that, we have heard all the items scheduled and this hearing is now adjourned. Thank you, Mr. Wong.
No, thank you very much.
you.
Have a nice day.
You too.
You too, thanks.